It is time for Free Speech Fridays, brought to you by the champions of free speech in New Zealand, the Free Speech Union. And joining us this morning, two blokes, and we might have a talk about men's health with them as well, because I realised I didn't give them a list of topics as we normally do this morning because Ben's away and that one went through to the keeper. But first up, a very warm welcome, I think his first Free Speech Friday, Greg O'Connor, Labour MP. How are you, Greg?
Good morning. How are you, mate?
Good to have you with us. And from Auckland, the city that keeps its rates down to 6.8 or 6.5%, Maurice Williamson, Auckland City Councillor. How are you, Maurice?
Good morning, Sean, and good morning, Greg.
All right, guys, I want to rip straight into this. Mark Sainsbury's just told me, because he's a Men's Health Week ambassador, that being partnered up, and actually he was a bit, Greg, and this would concern you as a Labour Party MP, he was a bit, I think, gender specific. Having a woman in your life is good for your health. Would you both agree with that, Maurice?
I'm under the whip here. I get told this is what you're doing and so on. I can feel really, really bad, and I think, I'll get through this. No, you're going to the doctor. I'll make an appointment. You're seeing him today. And on a couple of occasions, it's been very helpful that I did do that.
All right. So have you had a major health scare, Maurice?
Not really. I've had bits and pieces, but nothing that you'd call major, no, other than a couple of sort of mental breakdowns like you do at Parliament, because I think that's the excuse you use now when anything goes wrong. You just say it's a mental health problem.
Yeah. Greg, do you think having a partner who identifies as anything is a better thing for your health than being single?
Well, us blokes notoriously bad at heading off. I mean, the classic example of that, I had bowel cancer in my 40s, and the symptoms were there for all to see, but I guess who ignored them nearly too long.
Wow.
So, look, it's a blokey thing. We joke about it, but it's real. It's sort of like almost part of our whole sort of culture, isn't it? That, no, you don't go. What are you
she'll be right.
You'll be right. She'll be right, mate. So I'm a classic. So anyone who's listening to here, you get anything, if it's not normal, there's a reason for it. Get it checked.
Yeah. Guys, let's just
Sean,
talk.
I'd like to think, I'd like to think it was a Kiwi thing, but I've lived in the States and talked to a number of GPs who live nearby where we had a few drinks and so on. They said it's no different up there, and I know a British GP who works in Manchester, and he said it's actually just as bad in Manchester.
It's just guys are shite at this all over the world, obviously.
Just guys. It's a guy thing. We're really bad at it.
Look, I was also thinking, and Sainsbury's going on, Sean, if you've got a partner, you're going to live longer. I reckon a dog is just as good, don't you, Greg?
Well, yeah. Well, Sainsbury can talk, but, it's horses for courses. Shall we say?
Or a horse, if you like. I know the Labour Party's a broad jet.
No, don't chase the horses, because that'll shorten your life forever. Because you won't be able to afford to live. So we all know the story there.
All right, look, guys, I want to move on. Let's just talk through.
I got a post. No, listen, I got a poster when I was in LA, and it was headed up 10 reasons why a dog is better than a girlfriend. And number one, you'll love. The later you are home, the happier the dog is to see you.
I do like that.
Sure, this is starting to sound.
I was just going to say, let's not make Greg regret the decision to break the unwritten boycott of the platform by the Labour Party caucus. Let's make it a safe space for him. Let's talk about the events of the week.
It's starting to sound like a dating app here, Sean. Actually, by the way, I might say, are you getting sponsored by some one of these women dating agencies?
No. I've never used them, but maybe that's a good idea. Look, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, Greg, I think a story that went underreported, but is such a classic New Zealand story. The story of Tom Phillips and his kids and what is developing now in Maricopa. For 2.5 years, we kind of did nothing. And when we look at it, when I thought about it earlier this week, I thought, that's just bizarre. We let this guy go bush with his kids for 2.5 years. And obviously the police now, motivated by something to take action. Bloody hard situation for the coppers though, Greg.
It is. I don't know if you read any Barry Crump.
Yep.
But actually, it's starting to actually sound like a Barry Crump plot, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is. But look, my understanding, there are some reasons why police are winding it up at the moment. I don't think he's living in a cave up there completely devoid of human contact. And some of that human contact is legal and otherwise. So the other thing, of course, is that what you've got to be really careful of is that you're going to have some kids who are going to be basically completely unsocialised as they go on now, and what are going to be the consequences there? I would say, and there's nothing I know, but I'd say the fact that police have wound it up now, there's probably a reason for it.
Yeah, that's what the feeling I get.
That will be declared later on. Because let's face it, if you talk to the locals up there, it's sort of almost become part of the local folklore already.
And this is the danger, Maurice. We go back to George Wilder, we go back to New Zealand's man-alone culture, and it would be very easy to make a martyr of Tom Phillips, which would be the worst thing, I think.
I can remember as a kid that there was even a song put out about George Wilder.
Yep, by Howard Morrison.
He was almost a folk hero, and everyone was saying, I hope he gets away, because he'd done some petty stuff. Look, if you'd been a really bad criminal, everyone wants you caught and punished and so on. But from what I understand, I was only a kid, so I don't remember, but it was quite small stuff. And even my parents, who were pretty hot to trot on law and order things, they said, leave him alone. He's up in the bush. Who cares?
Yeah. And we might say the same about Tom Phillips, but, Greg, there are 3 kids involved here, and there's a firearm.
I suspect we've got a little bit to learn as public about this one because, from my knowledge, again, I stipulate nothing I know, but you tend to read between the lines on this, and the fact they have now wound it up would suggest that there is a reason for it.
Yeah, and let's hope, guys...
The last thing the police would want to be would be committing the sort of resources they clearly are over there without a good reason.
But look, I've got to say, and RNZ picked up my suggestion. I said, why didn't we just send some SAS tracking unit in there 2.5 years ago? Be quite a good little exercise. They don't have to have their guns with them, but surely we've got, specialists who could find someone in that situation.
We've got a little thing about deploying the armed forces against our own citizens.
Not against. It's a search and rescue operation, Greg.
Well, no, it's not. It's not. No, it's not. They're actually doing a police activity.
Oh, okay. Well, if you're going to be technical...
Come on, Sean. If you're going to come on the show... and
it's going to be technical about it.
A little bit about our constitution.
Maurice, you were going to say...
I'll tell you what makes the difference. Here. If it was just this guy Phillips by himself out in the bush, it would be another George Wilder, But there's a custody issue here where they've got a right to be with their mother. If you think of, if I had my kids taken away by someone and they disappeared into the mountains, I would want everything done to get those kids back. And as you say, as Greg says, they could end up without any schooling over all these years.
Well, I do notice the whole sorry saga began under the last Labor government, so we can just blame them. Right,
okay. I'll blame them.
Well, you and every other media outlet and politician in the country, Sean.
Right.
So I didn't think you were a populist, Sean, but clearly you are. Heck, you're mellowing in your old age.
Hey guys,
when did you become a populist?
On a more serious note, and we talk about things going on for a long time, and brought into stark contrast today, death of a child by blunt force trauma in Tikawiti. Funeral has been held. I see a picture of the father who says he had nothing to do with it, though the police have been involved there before, and he's pulling a gang sign as he's holding his baby in his arms. We still have no arrests in the Baby Roo killing in Nainai, now more than 6 months ago. We've got a lousy record on this, haven't we, guys? A lousy record as a country for killing kids.
We've got a dreadful record on it, and we've really got to start getting dead serious about it. And I think, Greg will know, isn't there a private member's bill currently in the Parliament or in the biscuit tin maybe, that if you don't declare